Good evening, my name is Carla Hargrove, and I'd like to welcome you to the second installment of A Cause for Conversation. This second installment is coming almost 2.5 years after the first, and that is due to the fact that I just simply dropped the ball. If you go back to the first video, you'll see all of the different subject matters that I do want to cover, and it is very diverse in nature. The only difference in that video was initially I was intending on it to happen once a week. I'm going to commit to once a month. I think that I can go ahead and pull that off and still take care of my prior commitments with other things. So that's going to be on the 3rd of every month. And now that I've gotten that out of the way, I want to talk to you about the subject that I want to discuss today, the cause for conversation on October 3rd. And the cause for conversation is the scariest thing that I did today. The scariest thing that I did today I could just talk to you about, but I would also like to show you. All right. This was the scariest thing that I did today, and it was put on a hoodie. My family and I recently moved to an area where we are not in the majority. We're definitely in the minority. I would have to say that I felt comfortable in this area. I have not experienced anything negative while I've been out here for the month that we've been living here. The neighbors have been friendly. There haven't been any issues that I can point out that would make me feel like, okay, I'm experiencing racism. I understand that racism exists. I know it does because I've experienced it in the workplace and in other places as well. But so far, I haven't experienced it. So I guess I'll talk about today. I've decided to go ahead and be a little more healthy and make sure I go walking every day. And today was a day where it was quite a bit chillier than it has been. So I went downstairs to grab a sweater, and that didn't seem to be enough. So I was going to put a hat on, but I decided really didn't want to wear a hat. So my husband just brought up, he said, hey, why don't you just wear a hoodie? That way you can take care of covering your head and your body at the same time without having two separate pieces. And I thought, cool, that'll work out. So I don't normally buy hoodies for myself. So my husband passed me his, and this is his hoodie. Put the hoodie on, walked out the door, told the kids bye. And the minute I stepped out of that door, it was like lightning struck. I thought to myself, you're a black woman in a predominantly white neighborhood, walking around while it's a little on the dark side with the hoodie on. Take away the fact of my gender, because in a hoodie, my gender is not fully apparent. When I'm wearing workout clothes, especially when they're not fitted, it's not apparent that I'm a woman in anything. So basically, I was about to walk around a predominantly white neighborhood with a hoodie on while it was starting to get dark. And honestly, I had to second guess my decision to do that. And after I second guessed it, I just decided not to put the hood on my head. I figured, okay, it'll be a sweatshirt and I'll be walking around. People can see, okay, she has girly hair. That'll be enough to stop any of the racist thoughts or anything that might come her way. So I walk around the neighborhood and I'm seeing teenagers with their hoods on because it's chilly. It makes sense. I'm seeing adults with their hoods on because, again, it is cold and it makes sense to have that hood on your head if you have the capability to put it over your head. But I still have to contend with the fact that so many people state and feel that if you are black, it is only common sense not to put a hood on your head because you're already suspected of something. The issue is that the things that I do that would be commonplace are considered threatening before I ever make them threatening. So I can be innocent walking around, but because of the color of my skin and the thoughts that are associated with that from some people, initially, before anything is done, I'm a threat. And I have to be mindful of that. But as I continue to walk around and my ears are starting to get cold and I'm getting a little sniffly, I'm thinking to myself, it is ridiculous to have a hood and not wear it because of the basic prejudices that I know people have. So I don't know if it was just the cold or the fact that I was feeling a little bit rebellious, but I put the hood over my head and I walked around. And I noticed that as my white counterparts walked around the neighborhood, conversations continued to go on with people who were sitting on their porches or standing outside. And then when I would walk past, the conversations would stop. People would look to see if they could place my face, and more than likely they couldn't because we're fairly new here. And, you know, I just didn't feel 100% comfortable, unfortunately, walking around my neighborhood with a hoodie on. But I kept it on anyway. And the question I have to ask myself is, what is the likelihood of me going out in a hoodie again? But then after I ask myself that question, I have to wonder, at what point does Black America, or people of different races and nationalities, at what point do we stop conforming based on other people's prejudices and start doing things that we just want to do, things that are normal, that are not criminal in nature? At what point do we stop conforming to keep ourselves safe? At what point do we start to challenge them on their racist and prejudiced thoughts and beliefs and make them do something different? At what point do we basically let them know that we have every right to do normal, everyday things that any other person walking on this earth has? When do we stand up for ourselves as a people? If I were to say that the likelihood of me wearing a hoodie in an area where I pay to live is slim, I have to question the fact that I would say that as an adult. As an adult, I should have the freedom to wear a hoodie. And if I don't have that freedom, that is something that needs to be addressed within this community. And I think as Black people, as white people who see this, we all need to start taking a stand against some of the things that we see that are unfair, that people experience. I want to point out to anyone who blindly states that racism no longer exists, no matter what you do to qualify that, whether it be that we have a Black president or anything else, please note that racism does exist in the hearts of Blacks, whites, any other race and nationality of people that are out there. Racism exists, and it hinders our ability. Well, it hinders the oppressed people's ability to make just regular, everyday decisions without second guessing how they may be putting themselves in danger for making them. And I just want to challenge you to start challenging the status quo. Stop conforming as much as you have. Start having the discussions that need to be had so that people understand that their prejudice is not warranted, it's not wanted, it's not welcome, and it needs to stop. And that's what I want to challenge you to do. Have a cause for conversation. I'm wishing you a good life, good luck, good love, and good night. Thanks for watching.